Hey, and welcome to another edition of What You Need to Know. I'm Toby Lorenc with Berkshire, Hathaway, HomeServices, Rocky Mountain Realtors in Colorado. So today we're going to talk about buyer cost. What do you have to have out of pocket when you're buying a home? It's really important to know because a lot of people think they're not going to have any cost until they get to the closing table. But unfortunately, there are a few other costs, but it's part of the process and it's part of what you want to be able to do to make sure it's the right home for yourself. So first of all, you're going to have earnest money. That's the first thing. Earnest money is typically in this market about 1% of the purchase price of the home. So if you're looking at a $300,000 home, expect about $3,000 earnest money. And that's going to be due at the time that the contract is accepted. The seller's agent and that company is going to deposit your earnest money either in their own account or with the title company typically. And they're going to hold that money until closing. And so as long as you don't default on the contract or do something that you've missed a date, this is why you should have an agent, by the way, you're going to get that earnest money back and credited towards you at closing to help pay for the home. So it's really a deposit. It's really a down payment and shows that you are in good faith moving forward on wanting to purchase the home that you're under contract for. So earnest money. So expect, let's say on a $300,000 house is going to be our example. $3,000 in earnest money needs to be in your bank account. You write a check, wire, cashier's check, whatever. But if you write a check, it's going to be deposited within 3 days of accepting that contract. Second thing, inspection. You have the opportunity to look at this house and see if it's the house you want. You can go through this house and do an inspection on any system that you can possibly think of. So you can get a general home inspector that's probably going to run you around $350 to $400, maybe up to $500 depending on the type of home, the square footage, things like that. This inspector is going to give you typically a full report. They're going to tell you the things that they're noticing that are perhaps wrong with the house or some problems or even just minor issues that need to be repaired. So it's a checklist for you to see what types of things, once you get into this house, that you may want to focus on repairing. It's also a checklist of things that maybe you're going to ask the seller for, to say, hey, this is a major system, it's a major cost, and it may keep you from buying the house if you're not able to negotiate something with the seller to help pay for that system or to have it repaired before you even move in. So inspection. So let's say the major house inspection is going to cost around $350, $400. Then you can add on other services to that. You can test for radon gas, which is big here in Colorado. That's probably another $150. You can scope the sewer line to make sure there's not roots growing in it or that there's not a cracked sewer line. Probably another $150. So depending on the type of services that you add on, you're looking at probably a minimum of $350, maybe up to $700, $800 depending on what services you add on. And that's going to be paid to the inspector that you choose to do this inspection at the time that they finish it. So you're usually about 2 weeks under contract at that point. Keep in mind, this is not a regional building inspector. This is not someone coming to say you can't buy the house because these issues are out of code. This is an inspector that you hire, and property can be transferred as long as both parties agree on it pretty much in any condition. So this is really for your knowledge, and you're purchasing that inspection report and that inspector's time as a buyer. The third and final thing is really once you get to closing. Those are your main two out-of-pockets costs, is earnest money and inspection. Now you're at closing, and you're going to have to pay whatever money is required down on the loan, 3%, 5%, 10%, whatever it may be. And you're going to have closing costs, and these are for documents, they're for, sometimes the real estate companies have closing fees, your lender to close that loan. Those are all going to be wrapped into your final closing cost. And you'll know that about a day or two before closing, so you can know exactly how much to bring to closing. But do keep in mind that when we say closing cost, that's different than the percentage that you're bringing down on the loan as required by the lender. So if you have additional questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to talk through things with you. If you're a new buyer and you just want to learn a little bit more about the process, I'm always here. Thanks for attending another edition of What You Need to Know.